Hey everybody, today we're talking about Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 16, Deadpool. Hey everybody, and welcome back to BK's Bullets. As always, I'm your host, Brent, and today we're talking more Ultimate Spider-Man. This is Volume 16, the Deadpool. This collects number 91 through 96 plus Annual 2. This one's fun. It gets Spider-Man away from the New York City nightlife and all that other stuff. It's a tale removed from New York City where Peter Parker goes on an adventure with the X-Men encountering Ultimate Deadpool. This kind of builds off the last story we had with the X-Men. And in the last volume, Peter started dating Kitty Pryde, so they're like officially dating now. She's got a brand new costume here, or at least, yeah, it's on the cover here. Because they don't want people to associate Kitty and Peter, and because Kitty doesn't have a secret identity. So if she's with Spider-Man making out or she's with Peter making out, they're like, hey, you need a costume, so this is her new costume. Until they go to the island, and the island, they're basically kidnapped by Deadpool to go to Krakoa, which is off the coast of Genosha in the Ultimate Universe. And they're filming a hunt for TV cameras, and people see Spider-Man and Kitty together. So I guess they're going to know now that, Peter Parker can't date Kitty Pryde because Spider-Man's dating Kitty Pryde. That's a pretty fun story. Ultimate Deadpool in here is kind of a throwaway. He's a little bit different. His name is Wadey Wilson, not Wade, or at least they're calling him Wadey. And he's just a mercenary for hire. He doesn't have any of the quips or anything. He's kind of a more serious dude. Not too serious, but he's also not very quippy. Again, this is from the mid-2000s, before we had a really quippy Deadpool. This is before the Deadpool movies, so this is almost 20 years old, this story. So Deadpool hadn't really come back into the mainstream prominence at this time, I think. Even in comic circles, he wasn't a huge character. He's still kind of more of a niche character. And it wasn't until maybe 5 or 10 years after this storyline came out that you had the Cable and Deadpool series, and he kind of started to build momentum, got his own book again, and then kind of took off after that with the movie, right? So Ultimate Deadpool here, anything like regular Deadpool? No, absolutely not. Even his costume's a little bit different. He doesn't have the two things. He has this weird triangular shape mask. So that's kind of the main thing. Yeah, but you have the Reavers that are these biomechanical guys fighting the X-Men with Deadpool. They get off the island, and that's kind of it. You know what I mean? Cool. And then you have a 2-issue storyline with Morbius and Blade. Blade kind of makes an appearance, but Morbius also does. But it's pretty clear that Bendis can't figure out what to do with Michael Morbius, right? Because he makes him the son of Dracula, or Dracul, and he somehow bites people who've been bitten by vampires and saves them from becoming vampires, something like that. It's not really clear, but it's a fun little storyline. It puts us back in New York City, and then you have Peter and MJ kind of hey, you're dating somebody? She's all upset. And then it's kind of clear that oh, he's still going through some things. And he talks about in here, encountering Daredevil one time, and Daredevil saying you're too young for this, get out of here. And then in the very next issue, we have the annual number 2, and where you have Daredevil, Punisher, Moon Knight, the Kingpin, all coming to a head. This also is a little disappointing, this annual, because it wraps up the storyline that was planted at the end of, I think it was Ultimate Knights, right? The one prior to this, was it 14? Let's step out of frame here. Yeah, Warriors. 14 Warriors, where it's set up that Jean DeWolf actually works for the Kingpin, and then we forgot about it most of the time last volume. And this kind of wraps this up because this is kind of the death of Jean DeWolf, and it just puts everything to bed kind of too quickly and too nicely for my taste. So it's a fun volume. It's not a great volume. I think it's totally skippable. You know what I mean? If you're only going to pick up a few of these, or say I'm only going to read the ones that really matter, is it worth reading for Ultimate Deadpool? I don't think so. There's YouTube videos online. You can go watch them. Owen Likes Comics just put out a new video where he highlights some of the major forgotten Ultimate Marvel characters, and Ultimate Deadpool's featured in that one. So If you don't want to read this, go watch that video. But, you know, 3 out of 5 stars, I guess you would put it. Like, it's okay. It's fun. It's not bad, certainly. But it's not one of the better Ultimate Spider-Man volumes out there. So that's my thoughts on Volume 16 of Ultimate Spider-Man, the original run, Deadpool. Let me know what you guys think of this run, this batch of issues down below in the comments, and we'll see you guys next time in the Funny Pages.